We got some big news rolling out from minicamp, and Kayshon Boutte isn't faring out too well. We had some clips on him about a week or so ago. Looked good there, but some more things have bubbled up that we need to talk about. We need to go over, and I'm sure you want to look at this so you have an idea of what's going on with him. But this is from Rookie Watch on Twitter. He likes to go through the news and just share what's going on. So let's go over what he's got here. Kayshon Boutte reportedly had a less than ideal minicamp and OTA shown with the Patriots. Boutte was absent for multiple practices for an undisclosed reason. That could be anything. It could be injury. That could be just getting a cortisone shot. That could be really anything. Who knows? We just got to speculate there. One Patriots staff writer wrote that he's losing hope. Boutte will be a factor for the Patriots. Just 1 year ago, Boutte was viewed as a potential top 10 pick in the 2023 draft class. Boutte was also the second-ranked wide receiver recruit coming out of high school ahead of Jack Smith-Njigba and Quentin Johnston. Now the Patriots rookie wide receiver has an uphill climb, but all the potential in the world. So the thing about this is he's coming back from injury, huge injury, and we saw this last year with LSU. Last year, him just coming back. Started off slow. We were wondering where he was happening. And now, all of a sudden, at the end of the season, we saw him have some great games, some good performances, making some huge highlight plays. Thing is, things got to be consistent. He's got to return to his old form before the injury. He's got to do that to be able to make an impact at the NFL level. We can't have the ghost of Kayshon Boutte out there. That's just not going to be a thing here. This is the reason why he fell in the NFL draft. The ghost of Kayshon Boutte is something to be worried about if you have him in Dynasty Fantasy Football, because the odds of him coming back and being successful, carving out a role at the NFL level, and then also being productive, really not in the cards. The odds are stacked against him. But if he reverts back to his old form, like we saw like 2 years ago as a sophomore before that ankle injury, man, he could be one of the most productive wide receivers in this draft class. Could be the wide receiver one. But the odds of that are very speculative. You don't know. Odds are against it. The NFL told you they're not betting on it because he fell in the draft. Eventually, you just put some chips on him at a cheap price point, hope for the best. But again, things aren't looking good right now. That doesn't mean that we get in a training camp and maybe comes back a little better. But we're starting to see some characteristics unfold that things are starting to come along a little slower, and that's something you don't want to see right now because sunk cost is not invested in them. They spent a late round draft pick on them, so they can move on from them like this if they need to. Also, that late round draft pick means that they were very leery of him in the first place because they saw what he did in his freshman season, sophomore season. That's also still, even though that was gangbusters, that's still a limited amount of games. And we have this chunk of time after that. And now we got this time here in the summer. And you just got to be real with yourself. We know the talent is or was there. But this version of Kayshon Boutte, we don't know what's going to go on with it. We saw him on camp in the clips looking good. We saw him looking good. Health is a factor. The best ability is availability. And if it's not there, then that's a problem. That is a problem. That means he's not developing. That means there could be a potential injury issue. There could be other issues. Remember, we had that sex scandal or whatever after one of the bowl games or whatever. We covered that months ago. There's a lot going on here. And it's outside of his control probably. Maybe. It's outside of our control of guessing. So really, we're just going to have to watch these cards play out. Dynasty Fantasy Football standpoint here. You just got to know the odds are stacked against them prior. They're stacking a little bit more against them. So those rookie draft picks that you spent are really speculatory picks that you spent on these late rounders. Odds of late round wide receivers aren't good. Most of them don't hit to the point that you need them in fantasy. Kayshon Boutte here for Patriots fans. You got a guy here on the cheap that has tremendous upside, who has tremendous game. But he's coming back from injury that impacted his final year at LSU. Remember, he wanted to stay another year at LSU, more than likely to build things back up. That didn't go so well, and he had to come out for the draft. Now he's here prematurely. That might be an impact as well. Some things are outside of our control here, and we know we got a talent on the cheap, but we have this huge wrinkle here that might drop the ball on us. That just might happen. That's just part of the game. You get these good talents, they fall off, and things like injuries, other things, that just happens. That's just part of the game. This is part of football. It's just part of life. Kayshon Boutte was a hell of a specimen, is a hell of an athlete, hell of a prospect. Really rooting for him, though, because he's a player that's an underdog right now, coming back from an injury. But if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it does happen. But we just got to see if he gets back to normal, gets back to his old self. If not, then it is what it is. But I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Catch you on the next video.